As the African sun dipped toward the horizon, painting the sky with rich hues of amber and crimson, the sprawling savanna of Serengeti National Park seemed wrapped in a serene stillness. Across this endless golden sea of grass, a pride of lions slowly emerged from the shadows, led by a majestic male lion named Kovu, whose magnificent mane shimmered like molten gold in the fading sunlight. Closely behind him, 5 vigilant lionesses gracefully prowled, their eyes sharp with focus, scanning every movement of the land for prey. Unbeknownst to them, hidden dangers lurked beneath the tranquil beauty of Serengeti, a peril they had never encountered before. Amidst their leisurely hunt, a strange, unfamiliar scent suddenly filled the air, causing Kovu to pause cautiously. Curiosity compelled him forward, away from the protective gaze of his pride, but as he moved toward the mysterious scent, an agonizing roar shattered the calm, echoing through the vast wilderness. Little did Kovu or his pride know, their peaceful evening was about to spiral into a desperate fight for survival, one that would test their strength, unity, and courage, and ultimately bring them face to face with an unexpected savior. In the heart of the Serengeti, darkness crept steadily across the horizon, swallowing the remaining sunlight and leaving behind a tense, eerie silence. Kovu, the powerful and proud male lion, had unknowingly stepped directly into the jaws of danger, his paw ensnared in a cruel steel trap set by ruthless poachers hunting elephants for ivory. A sudden, bone-chilling roar pierced the evening air, echoing hauntingly across the vast grasslands, signaling unbearable pain and desperation. Instantly, the 5 lionesses rushed to Kovu's side, their fierce eyes glowing with panic, fear, and fury as they circled protectively around their injured leader. Time became their enemy as Kovu struggled in vain, his strength fading with each agonizing movement. Blood seeped slowly from the wound, staining the golden earth red and heightening the urgency of their plight. Minutes blurred into anxious hours as the pride remained steadfastly at their companion's side, bracing for whatever threat might come from the shadows. Just when hope seemed lost, the distant hum of an approaching vehicle startled the lions, their muscles tightening as they prepared for a potential new threat. Behind the wheel was Jafari, an experienced ranger making his final evening patrol. Catching the lions' distressed cries, he halted abruptly, heart racing with dread as he surveyed the terrifying scene unfolding before him. Knowing the poachers could return at any moment, Jafari faced an impossible choice: call for backup and risk arriving too late, or act swiftly, risking his life to save the majestic beast. With adrenaline surging, he cautiously approached, hands trembling and breath shallow, praying the lionesses would sense his intention. The pride growled ominously, eyes blazing fiercely, muscles coiled, yet somehow holding back their primal instinct to attack. Drawing upon every ounce of courage within, Jafari reached down, gripping the cruel iron trap and forcing it open inch by painful inch. The tension thickened unbearably, each second stretching endlessly, as both human and beast fought desperately against the threat closing in around them, unaware of just how close danger truly lurked. As nightfall blanketed the Serengeti in darkness, the situation grew increasingly desperate. Kovu lay immobilized, his breathing shallow and strained, each heartbeat weakening his once powerful frame. The lionesses maintained their protective circle, tense and alert, ears twitching at every faint rustle in the surrounding brush. Suddenly, breaking through the oppressive silence, came the distant hum of an approaching vehicle. Jafari, the veteran ranger, had arrived just in time. His heart thundered in his chest as he realized the dire stakes. The poachers, who had set this brutal trap, could return at any moment, ready to finish what they'd begun. With shaking hands, Jafari stepped out cautiously, the dim light of his flashlight revealing the grim scene before him. The mighty Kovu pinned and bloodied, surrounded by fiercely protective lionesses whose narrowed eyes glowed ominously in the dark. A surge of adrenaline flooded Jafari's veins, and he knew hesitation was not an option. He raised his hands slowly, whispering calming reassurances, hoping desperately that the pride would sense he meant no harm. Approaching the injured lion, every nerve in his body screamed caution. A single misstep could trigger an attack. Jafari knelt, muscles straining as he battled against the heavy, rusted steel trap that clenched Kovu's swollen paw. Each creak of metal echoed loudly, causing the lionesses to growl nervously, muscles tense and ready to spring. Sweat streamed down Jafari's face as he fought relentlessly, feeling the clock tick mercilessly against him. Just as the trap finally snapped open with a resounding clang, a chilling noise erupted nearby. The unmistakable sound of engines and human voices. The poachers were returning. Panic surged, electrifying the air around them. With mere moments left, Jafari freed Kovu, who roared in relief and defiance, the sound ringing out like thunder across the plains. Now, with the enemy closing in, Ranger and Lion stood united against a common threat, their eyes locked in silent understanding, ready to confront the imminent danger that would test the bonds of trust and courage forged in the crucible of this unforgettable night. With his pulse racing and sweat streaming down his face, Jafari knelt beside the wounded lion, forcing himself to remain calm despite the imminent danger. The steel jaws of the poacher's trap finally snapped open, releasing Kovu, who unleashed a mighty roar that resonated across the darkening Serengeti, a triumphant yet haunting call that signaled both freedom and urgency. The lionesses immediately encircled their companion protectively, yet their piercing eyes stayed locked on Jafari, watching his every movement with fierce intensity. His heart nearly stopped when, suddenly, headlights pierced through the trees, casting eerie beams that sliced through the twilight gloom. Voices echoed harshly across the plain, deep, threatening shouts from men who would stop at nothing to retrieve their deadly prize. The poachers were back. Panic surged within Jafari as he realized there was no turning back. He had seconds to act before their rifles shattered the fragile peace of the Serengeti. Quickly, he concealed himself behind nearby foliage, gripping the heavy trap as proof of their crime. But what happened next defied his wildest imagination. The pride, sensing the approaching threat, did not flee. Instead, the lionesses swiftly positioned themselves in a defensive formation around their wounded king, their muscles rippling beneath golden fur, eyes glittering dangerously in the dim light. Kovu rose defiantly to his feet, despite his injuries, releasing a roar so powerful it echoed like thunder through the valley. Frozen in awe, Jafari watched as the pride stood fearlessly united against the approaching menace, their raw courage igniting a fierce sense of hope within him. The poachers hesitated, suddenly uncertain, as primal instincts whispered warnings they could not ignore. Guns drawn, they hesitated, caught between greed and fear of nature's fury. In those electrifying seconds, Jafari understood that he was witnessing a rare alliance forged by shared danger and courage. As darkness swallowed the Serengeti, man and beast stood together against ruthless foes, their survival hanging in a tense, breathtaking balance. As dawn broke once again over the sprawling Serengeti, bathing the savanna in a gentle golden hue, Jafari found himself unable to shake the memory of that heart-stopping rescue. Each evening, as he patrolled through the now familiar grasslands, his eyes instinctively wandered toward the spot where he'd saved Kovu. Then, on one extraordinary afternoon, he felt a strange sensation, like eyes watching from the shadows. Turning sharply, his heart skipped a beat as he saw Kovu emerge slowly from behind tall grass, his majestic form limping slightly, yet radiating undeniable power. Behind him, the 5 lionesses silently followed, their amber eyes reflecting cautious respect rather than aggression. Jafari paused, breath caught in his throat, wondering what this encounter meant. Gratitude, curiosity, or perhaps something deeper. Over the next few days, an intriguing ritual began. Each evening at sunset, as the fiery horizon painted the skies crimson and gold, Kovu and his pride appeared, silently trailing Jafari's patrol vehicle from afar, never aggressive, never threatening, simply watching him with solemn, dignified fascination. This mesmerizing dance of trust sent chills down Jafari's spine each time, his pulse quickening with wonder at the silent understanding blossoming between man and beast. Could it be gratitude, recognition, or even friendship bridging the vast chasm between them? He began to look forward eagerly to this thrilling encounter, cherishing the unspoken bond that had formed between himself and the lions. Yet deep inside, tension lingered. Poachers still prowled these lands, threatening the very animals he had sworn to protect. Each encounter with the pride reminded Jafari of what was at stake, reigniting his determination to fight back harder against those who sought to harm these magnificent creatures. Little did he know that this growing connection with Kovu's pride would soon be tested again, pushing him toward another moment of truth, an encounter even more dangerous and astonishing than the first. As dawn broke once again over the sprawling Serengeti, bathing the savanna in a gentle golden hue, Jafari found himself unable to shake the memory of that heart-stopping rescue. Each evening, as he patrolled through the now familiar grasslands, his eyes instinctively wandered toward the spot where he'd saved Kovu. Then, on one extraordinary afternoon, he felt a strange sensation, like eyes watching from the shadows. Turning sharply, his heart skipped a beat as he saw Kovu emerge slowly from behind tall grass, his majestic form limping slightly, yet radiating undeniable power. Behind him, the 5 lionesses silently followed, their amber eyes reflecting cautious respect rather than aggression. Jafari paused, breath caught in his throat, wondering what this encounter meant. Gratitude, curiosity, or perhaps something deeper. Over the next few days, an intriguing ritual began. Each evening at sunset, as the fiery horizon painted the skies crimson and gold, Kovu and his pride appeared, silently trailing Jafari's patrol vehicle from afar, never aggressive, never threatening, simply watching him with solemn, dignified fascination. This mesmerizing dance of trust sent chills down Jafari's spine each time, his pulse quickening with wonder at the silent understanding blossoming between man and beast. Could it be gratitude, recognition, or even friendship bridging the vast chasm between them? He began to look forward eagerly to this thrilling encounter, cherishing the unspoken bond that had formed between himself and the lions. Yet deep inside, tension lingered. Poachers still prowled these lands, threatening the very animals he had sworn to protect. Each encounter with the pride reminded Jafari of what was at stake, reigniting his determination to fight back harder against those who sought to harm these magnificent creatures. Little did he know that this growing connection with Kovu's pride would soon be tested again, pushing him toward another moment of truth, an encounter even more dangerous and astonishing than the first. From that day onward, Jafari carried within his heart the unforgettable experience of rescuing Kovu, the majestic lion whose life he had saved. Each sunset drive through the Serengeti became deeply meaningful, a ritual intertwined with anticipation and quiet wonder. He frequently paused at the very spot where fate had united man and beast, listening attentively to the whispers of the savannah, the rustle of grass, distant animal calls, and the gentle breath of evening winds. Days turned into weeks, and the pride continued their silent, respectful routine of following Jafari's patrol vehicle from afar, maintaining a safe yet comforting distance. Kovu, his wound healed and mane now gleaming brighter than ever, stood proudly among his lionesses, his gaze always fixed thoughtfully upon the ranger who had dared to defy danger for his sake. Then came an extraordinary evening, etched forever in Jafari's memory. Kovu suddenly emerged from the tall grass, moving gracefully closer, his powerful presence radiating both strength and gentle appreciation. Jafari's pulse quickened as he watched, enthralled by the lion's unexpected courage and trust. Time seemed to slow as Kovu paused mere meters away, their eyes locking in mutual recognition, communicating silently across the divide between man and wild beast. In that profound silence, Jafari felt an overwhelming sense of connection, a deep gratitude transcending words, affirming the bond born from compassion and courage. In that instant, he understood the true meaning of harmony, the delicate balance that defined the wilderness he protected. With a final nod of acknowledgement, Kovu melted back into the grasslands, disappearing softly into the golden shadows. Jafari stood transfixed, heart pounding with joy, knowing that their extraordinary bond would remain unbroken, guiding and inspiring him forever.